come up and do the raffle, and you might win a cool prize. So who knows? So without further ado, I'll pass it on to Sam Dessou.
Wow, good morning, Portland. Good morning. Good morning, TriMet family. Good morning to all of you. You guys look good this morning. So I just want to say good morning to you and thank you all for being out here. Thank you for joining us with this wonderful celebration of a true icon of TriMet transit system. And of course, I am talking about this Type 1 Max train behind me here. So let's give that a big round of applause. This is one of the trains that started the modern rail system here in the Portland area. It is called Light Rail Vehicle number 124, and it's among the last of its kind. Even after 40 years, it still looks pretty good sitting out there, and I was able to sign it this morning with quite a few of you. It has traveled roughly 2 million miles. So I want you to think about that, 2 million miles. 2 million miles on the odometer of that vehicle. And let's put it in perspective as we talk about it a little bit. That means that that train has went 80 times around Earth. 80 times. And it's equal to at least 4 trips to the moon and back. So think about that, 4 trips. And you just see Artemis splash down with 1 trip there and back. So 4 trips to the moon and back. So that level of reliability doesn't happen without the dedication and the hard work of our TriMet employees. So let's give all of them a round of applause from beginning all the way till today. I want to call out our top-notch rail maintenance team members. So if you were part of the rail maintenance team, please just raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you. Raise your hand. Let's give them a round. Big round of applause. I just want to thank you for keeping our Type 1 steadfast for countless decades as we went forward. And these light rails have also acted as an inspiration for what is possible here at TriMet. Anyone that's operated the Type 1 train, please raise your hand so that we can acknowledge. Oh my goodness, look at here. Look at all of our operators that's operated the Type 1. We are grateful and thankful for you guys. So thank you so much on that. In 1986, when the Type 1 started service, TriMet was entering a new era as just the third transit agency in the United States with modern light rail service. And these trains helped demonstrate that light rail could succeed in a mid-sized American city and connect the outlying communities. Now in 2026, we can honestly say that we are among the pioneers of a new and exciting approach to moving people efficiently, easing congestion, and making the air we breathe clean. So over the years, we have continued to build on that foundation by introducing low-floor trains to improve accessibility. In fact, TriMet was the first transit agency in the United States with low-floor light rail vehicles. Yeah, that's a big round of applause. Ushering in a new era of accessibility. So we have introduced improved customer information tools that make riding easier and more intuitive for everyone. So today it's a bittersweet as we give the Type 1 a proper send-off. Many of you that I see around were instrumental in this trail and keeping these trains for 4 decades in operations. I do also want to thank all of the operators of every train whether it's a type 1 through type 6. If you are here, please raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you. All the way from 1 to 6. Also, I want to do one other thing. I want all of our retirees that are here, if you can raise your hand, we want to just give you a special thank you. All retirees. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have a special guest with us today, Jan Campbell. Jan is the chair of our Committee on Accessible Transportation. And as a longtime advocate for people with disabilities, she has provided TriMet with invaluable guidance over the years. You may not know this, but she played a pivotal role in the Type 1s. So Jan, come on up and let's give Jan a big round of applause.
My chair actually goes up, so I like to show height. Thanks. Especially nowadays. So my name is Jan, and I chair TriMet's Committee on Accessible Transportation. We call it CAT. And I want to thank the CAT members, past and present, some who are here today or will be here shortly. So much for all the advocacy we have done together and continue to do so to improve our transit system so it is accessible and welcoming to everyone. If you could raise your hands, and I don't think anybody is here, so they probably won't see any hands yet, but they will be here. We also have staff to support our committee, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your wonderful advocacy within the system. And could you please raise your hands? And they're right over here on the card. CAT is comprised of older adults and persons with disabilities. We are a vital communication link between staff and stakeholders, ensuring accessibility is prioritized in their total system, which includes their vehicles, policies, and programs. Type 1 vehicles, which we have one behind us here, actually gave me the opportunity to travel en masse like everyone else. I was able to experience, like everyone, our first light rail vehicle. However, access to the light rail was different because now we have all low floor cars, and I can enter the car by pushing a button, doors open, ramp comes out, and we go right on like everyone does. Back in the day, technology was not like this at all. Because it was high floor with stairs, not many of us could use it. The operator had to line up the car correctly with the wayside lift so that the customer could get off and on the vehicle. And it looks like some remember that. So I'm not the only old one here, or the older adult here.
I remember missing it many times. That's the embarrassing part.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that in just a second.
Let her do her speech.
Then the operator then would get out of the vehicle and jump down onto the platform to run the wayside lift at each station. The lift was bolted to the platform, and I called it the dumpster.
The bathroom.
We were encased by a small metal box, one in opened, and I would roll into it. Many of us felt disrespected and just being treated as if we were cargo. We never knew what we would find in them. And I have pictures of them if you would like to see them later. The operator would control the box, and they'd raise me up to the level of the car, and then I would roll in and take my place. They would then put the lift back down onto the platform and get back into the cabin. There was no cover to protect you, nor the bus operator, from the weather, and often complicated mechanical problems or vandalism, making it difficult to keep it in working condition. Sometimes the operator would climb back into their cabin to see if they could fix it. I felt operators and customers sometimes thought, oh no, here comes another person needing the lift, taking up so much time. Today we are retiring this Type 1 car. However, TriMet, remember, I am not retiring and neither is Kat. We still have a long ways to go so far and continue to get better and better for all types of disabilities and older adults. We now have all low floor cars, no stairs. Some of the things Kat is currently working on is TriMet's website to make it fully accessible and the use of QR codes and audible and texture cues for persons experiencing low vision or who are blind. I call TriMet the wind beneath my wings. They have given me the opportunity to have a quality of life that I and others never would have been able to have without their commitment to making our public transit system welcoming to everyone, and I feel the most accessible public transit system in the country. Thank you.
Give me one sec here. Just want to say, we both could do it. Thank you, Jan. Thank you for your leadership over the decades. And, just the story of the Type 1 isn't just about the train. It's about people who keep the trains running. And no one has better insight than those who were there in the beginning. Now we're going to hear from a couple of people of our retirees who were among the first to operate and work on these trains. So I'm going to start off with Mike Carter first. Mike was among our very first light rail operators, and also Dave Rowe, one of our first light rail vehicle mechanics. So I'll start off with you, Mike, with your remarks, and then we'll go to Trolley Dave and have a little bit of conversation as well. So again, I want to tell you, as I told you earlier, thank you for the service. We're grateful for what has occurred and positioned this organization to be a nationwide leader. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. They told me to keep this short, so that's it. Nice seeing all of you. I'm leaving. I actually have the rule book from our years ago, and it says on rule number 1.6, keep it short. I brought a couple of things along with me. One is about some of the camaraderie we had when we started the light rail system back in '86. Several of you just so personal to me. I mean, they really helped me. I was one of the operators, and I graduated into being a supervisor controller. But we all started together, and we all did what we could. The first thing I have here is I've got from 1990, 4 years after the Type 1 started. We had 12 people out of 40 that had over 4 years perfect attendance. We never missed a day. We were dedicated to come to work and do our job, and really loved the Max, the Type 1 car.
All right.
Number two, I was going through my briefcase the other day and I found September 5th, 1986. Whoa. And guess who's operating that train up there in that thing? Yeah, and my beard was dark. And I had a hat on just like Jose Guerrero over there. Jose's one of our first operators. He turned 90. We had a nice birthday party for him last Wednesday, which reminds me that our Rail Ranger group, 40 years later, still has camaraderie, and we get together and see each other, and 90% of us love each other. The other 10% we won't talk about. But anyway, I had a couple of more things on my phone here I wanted to bring up. I know I only have 2 minutes, but these phones, they have about, I did perfect attendance. Oh, first schedules. Every other train only went to Gateway. That ended about, 24 hours after we started service. Everyone was able to operate in revenue service, including the director of light rail. And if there was a problem out there with an operator, a supervisor would come out and grab that train and get it off the line or whatever. Learning together for months before we started in September. I only started from May to September, but some started back in 1985 that we had to find out what a switch was, what a signal was, little things like that. And that was a lot of fun. I didn't have to learn all that. I learned it from my teachers, which were our first supervisor controllers, one of which is not here today, that used to throw his eraser across the room if you didn't have the correct answer on a question, or a stupid answer. I knew we already went through lining up the front door for the wheelchairs. And when a retiree would retire, we had some Alatia's big off-the-cuff supervisor and controller and operator retirement parties. They were just great, and we still do. And it was just really something, the camaraderie we had back then and still do. And that's about it for me. I probably have 14 other things to say, but I'll end it right there. Thank you guys for all coming.
You're very welcome.
Where's Dave?
I guess it's my turn. Yeah, Mike and I worked together for many years. I started at TriMet at Center Street in 1974. That was 5 years after TriMet started. We knew everybody then. We had one shop, and we had buses that were in and out. But in 1984, they asked me to start working on trains, and I said, sure. There's 12 of us that came from Center Street as mechanics. So that was in April of 1984, 2 years before we started. But in that 2 years, we did 1,500 modifications on that Type 1 to get it as reliable as it is today. 1,500. So we was working pretty steady. We had help from Bombardier engineers and BBC, and a lot of the engineers, we learned a lot from them to keep these LRVs running. So in September of '86, when we opened up to that time, Norma Paulus was running for governor at that time against Neil Goldsmith. Neil Goldsmith come down to Ruby Junction and said, can you make this work? And we all said yes. So that day, on Labor Day in 1986, 150,000 people came out that weekend to help open up Max at that time. And after we got started, we ran for 10 years without missing a sign up. We had 26 vehicles, and we'd send out 22 vehicles, and we never missed one sign out for 10 years. Even during the Rose Festival, we'd run 26. The whole fleet would be out during the Rose Festival time. So it was quite an achievement, and that light rail behind us was very, very reliable. So I think we all give all our mechanics and operators credit for being such a putting in their heart to make it work. So thank you.
I just want to thank Dave and Mike. Really appreciate your comments. I want to thank all of you as being just heroes for TriMet and leading the way in our country with the Type 1s. Want to just say thank you. We are grateful to your service and dedication. We will miss the Type 1, and I'm going to turn it over to our personnel.
Thanks, everyone. Before we have one last piece of business to take care of before we head out, and that is the raffle. So I'll turn it over to Kyle Peters.
All right, thank you, Tyler, and good to see all of you here today. We have two vintage pieces of equipment from the Type 1s to raffle off. This is an employee-only and retiree-only raffle, so even the public doesn't get access to this. So let me just get the raffle info out here. The first thing we have to raffle off is a CCTV camera.
Wait, CCTV camera.
Here it is. One lucky winner. And I've randomized this, and we've done the drawing, so all I have to do is read off the name. Now the person has to be here to win. So if I read off your name, please come forward and claim your prize. If that person is not here, then I'll just read another name. So hopefully we don't have to go through too many names here. All right, so our first winner, drum roll, please. Winner of the camera is Joseph Weber. Is Joseph Weber here?
Where's Joseph?
I'm hearing crickets. All right, another drum roll. We got another name. All right, winner Steve Morgan. Steve Morgan. Here we are. A camera for a cameraman. All right, and our last item, our second item, the grand prize, if you will, is an old operator call box. So let's get a drum roll for this, please. And our winner is Elizabeth Flores. There we go, Elizabeth.
Go, Elizabeth. Go.
All right, and I'll pass it back to Tyler for the last remarks.
All right, I don't know about all of y'all, but I need to get out of this jacket. I need to get out of the sun. It is almost too bright. But the last thing I want to mention, we have merchandise. There's a discount on the merchandise. We have a food truck, coffee, treats. We have stickers to hand out. And then, of course, there's the main event. There's the Type 1. So check that out and have fun.